Welcome back to another episode of A World Gone Mad, Season 2, Episode 69. I'm your host, Jeff Allen Wolf. It feels like Groundhog Day to me. You know the movie with Bill Murray? Madness and chaos all over again, repeating day after day, just different parts of it. Well, it's the same day over again with Donald the King. We have a lot to get to, so here we go. President Donald Trump convened the first official cabinet meeting of his second term today, where he said some members of his cabinet disagree a little bit with Elon Musk, who was in attendance at that first cabinet meeting, which is so strange to me. CNN reports that Musk's directives to federal workers have begun to grate on cabinet secretaries. Oh my lord, do you believe again how Donald is spinning this? The cabinet members disagree a little bit. They're freaking pissed off at Elon and the pseudo power that Trump has given him in his administration and his bullshit email that he sent to federal workers about responding to this email or get fired. Yet, go look at the video where Elon, you got to watch this, okay? This is the cabinet meeting. They're around the table. Donald, obviously, in the familiar middle of the table. All the cabinet secretaries were appointed by Donald and approved by the Republican, legislature. And Elon is standing up in front of the whole table and Donald. And Trump asks in the room, does anybody have any issues with Elon? One person answers and says, no, he's doing a good job. Elon starts to answer back and say, thank you. And Trump interrupts him and says, Elon, let the cabinet members finish. No, a rebuke to Elon, I thought. And then Trump says to all the cabinet people at the table, does anybody have a problem with Elon? If so, let me know. I'll kick him out of the room. And everyone laughs. And everyone at the table applauds Elon, who is standing in front of the people, and Donald Trump. Nearly everyone in the room at that first cabinet meeting are applauding Elon Musk. What a crock of garbage this was. You really have to watch the video. Elon was just given 100% thumbs up from Donald the Delusional One and all the cabinet heads. Our country is screwed. And because of this collaboration now with like minds on what's going on, a Trump memo goes out and tells federal agencies how to conduct their mass layoffs. The Trump administration moved forward Wednesday with its plans to conduct large-scale layoffs across agencies, the latest move to downsize the federal workforce. The Office of Management and Budget and the Office of Personnel Management issued a memo to agency leaders with guidance on how to conduct their reductions in force, known as RIFs, and the reorganization's plans, taking another step to carry out President Donald Trump's executive order entitled Implementing the President's Department of Government Efficiency Workforce Optimization Initiative. According to Wednesday's memo, the principles to guide the agencies include conducting a significant reduction in the number of federal workers by eliminating positions that are not needed and reducing federal property holdings and budget, as well as providing better service to Americans and increasing productivity, according to the memo. The first phase includes submitting lists of agency divisions and employees performing functions not mandated by law or regulation who are not considered essential employees during government shutdowns. The plan should also include lists of all jobs categorized as essential, of agency divisions that provide direct service to Americans, and of any statutes that establish the agency, as well as the tools the agencies plan to use to reduce their staffs. Plus, agencies should provide suggestions for how to engage Congress to gain agreement on major restructuring efforts and on moving funds between accounts. Wow, this is total destruction. The deadline for submitting the plans, which should include implementation timetables, is no later than March 13th. In the second phase, OMB and OPM are asking for an outline of a positive vision for more productive, efficient agency operations going forward. Those are due no later than April 14th and should be implemented by September 30th. The information requested includes an agency's proposed organizational chart and confirmation that it has reviewed all employees' job descriptions, recent performance reports, length of service, and veterans status. OMB and OPM also want to know proposed relocations of offices away from the Washington, D.C. metro area. What? And plans to reduce costs and improve efficiency through technology. Agencies' plans should also include provisions of union collective bargaining agreements that could inhibit cost savings and efficiency efforts and proposals to renegotiate those provisions. Also, agencies should provide justifications for excluding programs and divisions from the reductions, as well as areas for future large-scale layoffs. And as in the executive order, the memo notes that future hiring should be limited to one position for every 4 people who depart. This is so convoluted. Exempted from this restructuring are positions in law enforcement, border security, national security, public safety, and immigration enforcement, as well as the military and federal uniformed personnel, including the U.S. Coast Guard. Also, the U.S. Postal Service and the Executive Office of the President are not subject to this memo from Donald Trump. In addition, the guidance notes that any agencies or divisions providing direct services to citizens, such as Social Security, Medicare, veterans, healthcare, should not implement any reductions until OMB and OPM certify. Now, this was a little in-depth of news that I wanted to report, but realize what this is. And if you're not sure, play it again, slow it down, absorb it. This is the complete restructuring of the federal workforce, according to Donald and Project 2025. Moving offices out of Washington, D.C., getting rid of a ton of people in the workforce, transferring funds back and forth, complete control of the government and the federal workforce. There was pushback against Elon on his initial memo, telling all the departments, remember, you reply to this, if you don't, you're fired. What do? Justify your job. The department heads told everyone, to their employees, no. Pause. Do not answer Elon. So the pushback against Elon, Donald steps in. They had to put their heads together and say, what can we do differently that won't piss off the American citizens who hate what the hell we're doing? This is a total mindfuck for our country. And this is the moment where the Republican senators, congressmen, and women need to stand up. And the courts, because we are now being owned lock, stock, and barrel by Elon and possibly Putin, and there's no going back. This is frigging ridiculous, completely batshit crazy. Again, I've said this several episodes before. Chaos starts from Trump's executive action. Oh, damn, we made a mistake. How do we fix this? Here's what we're going to do. XYZ are the fixes, and then more chaos ensues. Because of my beliefs and comments about all of this, I was taken to task by several people on social media. And of course, that's going to be the standard modus operandi by MAGA supporters. So those of you, the Wolfpack listeners, are a little bit more aggressive, like I am, and take on other Facebook groups when Republicans make stupid comments and you say your opinion. I do. Bad habit. I said don't engage with them. I did it this past week and I went against my own rule. But I did because of this destruction of our government. So I voiced my opinions of this is ridiculous, this taking over by Elon, etc. So listen and see if you've ever received this when Republicans answer back what you comment on. Some of the comments I received were the following. This is true. Jeff, you're an American. You don't like that Elon and Donald are trying to fix our country with the corruption from Joe Biden's crime family? Shame on you. If you don't like it, you should leave our country. But that's the mild comments I'm getting from social media Republicans. Listen to the following. In the past 48 hours, I've been called gay. That's right. A couple of people said I'm gay. Another one wrote, you know, your girlfriend used to be a man, and she's still a man. Are you aware of that? I'm not joking, Wolfpack listeners. Donald's supporters are like him. They have no decorum. They use personal insults. They are insecure. They resort to personal comments about Democrats' intelligence, about your sexual orientation, about your looks and your health, and if you could do push-ups. What? Yeah, I'm not joking. One Republican challenged me on a social media post that I wouldn't be able to do push-ups, that I was a weak libtard, a liberal retarded person. I kid you not. That I wouldn't know how to handle a gun. Well, just want to tell you, my Glock 17 says otherwise. That if I was confronted by a gun from a Republican, I'd freak out, pee in my pants, and fall down and cry. These Republican supporters, the delusional ones, are Looney Tunes batshit crazy. Trump lashes out at the Wall Street Journal after repeated attacks on his tariffs. President Donald Trump and the Wall Street Journal's opinion section are fighting over tariff policy again. Trump railed against a Wednesday editorial in the Journal that said with some evidence that auto-heavy Michigan would be hurt by tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico, and that Trump is once again threatening to impose these tariffs. If the goal is to harm U.S. auto workers and Republican prospects in Michigan, then by all means go ahead, Mr. President, said the Journal's editorial, which correctly pointed out that all cars and trucks assembled in Michigan do so with parts imported from Mexico and Canada. It cited studies that showed the cost of building a full-sized SUV would increase by $9,000 and a pickup truck by $8,000, even if those assembly plants are in the United States. Trump attacked that estimate, which is based on hard numbers, within a post on Truth Social that made a number of false claims. The tariffs will drive massive amounts of auto manufacturing to Michigan, a state which I just easily won, by the way, in the presidential election. They have already stopped numerous new auto plants from being built in other countries, a gigantic win for Michigan and the United States as a whole, Trump writes. Under free trade agreements between the United States, Canada, and Mexico, automakers have operated for decades as if North America is a single market, with parts and vehicles moving freely across borders during the assembly process. No automaker has dropped plans to build plants in Canada or Mexico or other countries yet because of the threat of tariffs. Although Tesla, run by Trump ally Elon Musk, has not moved ahead with its previously stated plans for a plant in Mexico. Stellantis, which makes vehicles in North America under the Jeep, Ram, Dodge, and Chrysler brands, has announced plans to restart production at a closed plant in Belvidere, Illinois. But that was something it was already doing as a part of the 2023 labor agreement with the United Auto Workers Union during the Biden administration, not in response to Trump's tariff threats. General Motors CFO Paul Jacobson told investors last week that long-term tariffs might force GM and other automakers to re-examine their manufacturing footprint in North America, but he indicated it's not a move that would be made quickly or lightly, and it was certainly not a decision it has already made. If they become permanent, the tariffs, then there's a whole bunch of different things that you have to think about in terms of where do you allocate plants, do you move plants, etc., he said. Those are questions that just don't have an answer today. As much as the market is pricing in a big impact of tariffs and lost profitability, think about a world where we're spending billions in capital and then it ends. We can't be whipsawing the business back and forth, he said. This is not the first time Trump in the Journal editorial pages have clashed on tariffs. In January, the Journal called the Canadian and Mexican tariffs proposal the dumbest trade war in history. Trump was asked about the editorial a few days later during a visit to the Oval Office by Rupert Murdoch, the largest individual shareholder in News Corp, which owns the Journal. "I'm going to have to talk to him," Trump said with a smile. "I've been right over the Wall Street Journal many times, I will tell you." What an egotistical son of a bitch, an insecure man Donald the delusional one is. Child in West Texas is the first U.S. measles death in a decade. The first measles death in the growing outbreak in West Texas was a school-age child. The child was unvaccinated and had been hospitalized in Lubbock, Texas, said Lauren Adams, Lubbock City spokesperson. This is the first U.S. measles death since 2015, when a woman in Washington state died. The number of confirmed measles cases reported in an outbreak in West Texas is now at 124. The Texas Department of Health Services said in an update Tuesday, an increase of 34 since last week. Most of the cases are at children ages 5 to 17. Now, at President Donald Trump's first cabinet meeting on Wednesday, he deferred a question about the measles outbreak in Texas to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, who was recently confirmed. And he said, "We are following the measles epidemic every day," RFK Jr. stated. Great. The guy who hates vaccinations is the one now in charge of this health outbreak. We should be fine, right? I feel fairly safe already. Funny, but not. This next news story is priceless. Apple says it's fixing a technical bug that caused its voice-to-text system to briefly replace the word racist with the word Trump. That's right. Some iPhone users had reported on Tuesday that when they spoke the word racist using Apple's voice dictation feature, the system automatically typed in Trump before quickly correcting to the word racist. I tried it. It didn't happen on my iPhone, but that is hilarious. Apple, the company, on Tuesday acknowledged the glitch that it said was causing its system to incorrectly suggest the word Trump when users spoke words with R consonants, and said it was rolling out a fix. Apple says the speech recognition models behind its dictation feature occasionally show an incorrect word with phonetic overlap before quickly correcting to the user's intended word. The company did not comment further on why its system may have heard the name of President Donald Trump when users were saying racist. The issue came after Apple on Monday announced a $500 billion investment in U.S. facilities, projects, and infrastructure, which Trump quickly claimed as a sign of success for his tariff policies. Earlier this month, Trump announced a 10% tariff on all imports from China, where Apple makes many of its products. In an all-caps Truth Social post on Monday, Trump said the investment showed faith in what we are doing, without which they wouldn't be investing 10 cents. Thank you, CEO Tim Cook and Apple, Trump wrote. But Trump then lashed out at Apple in a separate all-caps Truth Social post on Tuesday after the company's shareholders voted down a proposal to end its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, DEI, at its annual meeting. Apple's board had urged shareholders to reject the proposal, saying the company complies with relevant laws and aims to create a culture of belonging where everyone can do their best work, Tim Cook stated. Still, Cook acknowledged during the meeting that Apple may need to make some changes to its policies as the legal landscape around these issues evolves, Reuters reported. Apple should get rid of DEI rules, not make adjustments to them, Trump stated in his Tuesday post. There we go. Donald the racist, Apple, just doesn't want diversity anywhere. He just hates black people, apparently, and ethnic minorities. And finally, Trump says U.S. will sell a $5 million gold card to wealthy foreigners. Yeah, let me repeat that. Trump's going to sell a $5 million gold card to wealthy foreigners. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday the U.S. would sell this card to wealthy foreigners, giving them the right to live and work in the United States and offering a path to citizenship in exchange for a $5 million fee. A capitalistic bastard if there ever was one. We're going to be selling a gold card, Trump said from the Oval Office. You have a green card? Now this is a gold card. We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges, but it's going to be a route to citizenship. And wealthy people will be coming into our country by buying this gold card, Trump stated. Trump said the sale of the cards will begin in about 2 weeks and suggested millions of such cards could be sold. Asked whether he would consider selling the cards to Russian oligarchs, Trump responded, yeah, possibly. I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people. Oh, slap forehead and just, I don't even know what to respond to that one. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, standing alongside Trump, said the card will replace the government's EB-5 immigrant investor visa program, which allows foreign investors to pump money into U.S. projects that create jobs and then apply for visas to immigrate to the U.S. You notice that the money would be pumped into the U.S. projects. This is going to be just paid to get the card with privileges. They'll have to go through vetting, of course, Lutnick said, to make sure they're wonderful, world-class global citizens. Oh, shit. I guess that lets out the oligarchs, right? Wow, where is the money actually going, Donald? Besides your pocket and Elon's. Can anyone recall, for however long you've lived on this planet, any president saying crap like Donald says and selling junk like Donald does? To any Republicans listening to my podcast, which I doubt anyone still does, the Republicans who have asked me in the past every now and then, Jeff, what did Donald do that was so bad in his first 4 years that makes you hate the man so much? If, after the first month of this new administration by Donald, and you don't see the problems, I honestly don't know what the hell to say to you. I will be back in 2 days with another episode of A World Gone Mad. I'm Jeff Allen Wolf, and without your comments and emails, or comments in the voicemail box, or text to me on Blue Sky or through the apps, I'm sitting in a room talking to myself. Stay hopeful.